Now, after your mother's school year ended, she was able to be at home for most of the summer. So Daddy needed to get his hustle on, go out and buy some more time. The CEO of another school that we helped during my free big data tour back in 2013 had called. The school was about an hour's drive away from us. The CEO had recently returned from a lengthy illness, and we knew each other from having attended the same church years earlier. And he confided that his teachers were losing confidence in their school because of its unstable computing infrastructure. Now, he asked if I could lead its overhaul. At first, I was just his advisor, and then that progressed very quickly to me calling the shots for how everything was going to be done. So when it got to that point, I asked if I could report directly to him. He agreed. I asked if I could acquire the school's old equipment. That's very important to me. He agreed. I asked him for keys to the building and an alarm code. He agreed. Now, my intent in making these requests was based on several factors. One factor was avoiding as much of the school's human and operational instability as possible. See, there's no such thing as the school's unstable because the computers are unstable. School's unstable because its adults are unstable. Lesson learned. The CEO was also the CFO. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Major adult instability. But reporting directly to the person that played both roles, that's going to make it much easier to get paid for our work. But unless there's an argument. This would make it a lot easier to define the project scope, its timeline, its milestones, and its completion date. Because I know now that I defined my exit plan before I go in there. Now, asking for the school's old equipment, that's another well-learned lesson. See, schools often fix their problems by just buying another one, when the old one might have just been new last year. It might have been the solution to one of last year's problems. Now, having that old equipment would let me build a lab at home that would simulate at least the computer stuff that was going on in the school. Now, it would also let me experiment and figure out how to build an environment that would allow me to provide remote technical support once Mama went back to school for the next school year, and Daddy and Hannah would start season 2 of our home show. Now, having the keys and the alarm code, that would let me arrive early and stay late for that limited time we had to execute this overhaul. It would also help me coordinate my team in case we didn't all travel there together or arrive on site at the same time. Now, my team were 3 friends that I had assembled before. Shout out to Kurt, Phil, and Willie. We knew each other well enough to play well together, so we got to work quickly. We completed 12 projects in 2 months, built and tested this environment at home that would let me provide that remote technical support. We had bought some more time, so we provided billable technical support during that whole next school year. During that time, the CEO's illness returned, and he passed away during the next summer. And then that adult instability kicked in. There was a wrestling match to assume control of the organization. Because remember, he was the CEO and the CFO. That doesn't leave a lot of power for anybody else. So when he's no longer there, everybody is grabbing, trying to get some. All that wrestling did not bode well for the consultant that reported directly to that CEO, who was also the CFO. So we knew what was up. We bowed out of that situation gracefully. But we had bought some more time, and we had finally learned how to leave, and more importantly, when to get gone. Before the project ended, we picked up another one from another school that we helped during that free big data tour in 2013. Learn how to give knowledge away, because it'll invite you to opportunities, and when they're hard to come by, that might be the only way you get them. Now, this story at this other school, it's going to sound just like the last one, so I'm going to spare you all those details. This was an online school that wanted to divorce the management company that controlled most of its operations. You may be wondering, well, how did a management company come to control all of their operations? Well, they were contracted and given that service, that authority, it was given to them. It's tough to run a school by outsourcing everything except the management functions. That's hard to do. Anyway, we help them accomplish their goal, this goal of divorce. Then we counsel them that they might not want what they thought they wanted. Tried to make them aware of some perceived improprieties and how they kept up with and assigned equipment purchased with grant money. I'll leave that right there. And then we left them to their own devices. And we bought some more time. We finally learned how to leave and when to get gone. Then I learned that both of the retirement systems that I had invested in during my education career would terminate my accounts. One would terminate in 2016, the other would terminate in 2017. I would have to assume direct management control of those accounts by their imposed deadlines. Thank you very much, TRS Georgia and AIG Valak. We had bought some more time.